Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Miata restoration here with Nick and myself. He's having breakfast, so I'm not gonna film him a lot. Isn't it a little bit too late for breakfast? Anyway, here we are again. It's a long weekend. It's fall already. So you see, oops, excuse Rusty. Excuse you being on camera. Anyway, so you see the leaves are falling. This is the worst part of the year. I don't like it. Anyways, we're still not ready with the Miata. It's 2 months until he turns 16 and he's gonna have his driver's license, and his car is not ready yet. So anyways, it's a long weekend, so today is Saturday, so hopefully, I always say that, but we never do it actually. But hopefully this time we're gonna be able to work on the car for 3 consecutive days. So what we've done in the last episode is we made this piece. I don't think I showed it to you welded. So it is welded now, and it's surface rusted already because we didn't paint it. Anyway, we're gonna have to clean it up at some point, the whole wheel well, and it's gonna be sprayed with track bed liner, so that's not a big deal. So that's the piece that we made. We still have to weld a little bit more here. We're gonna bend this flange a little more to hug this here, and then we're gonna weld it. We're not gonna do spot welds or plug welds. We're just gonna weld it like here. By the way, I didn't mention that in the previous video, but now I believe the car is rust free. So there are big areas that are missing metal, but there's no rust. I mean rot, there's surface rust. Yeah, there's a little bit at the bottom of the doors. So this corner is gonna need to be repaired. And there, well, when we strip it, probably it's gonna be more than that, but yeah, wow. Okay. I take that back. It's not rust free.
Also the bottom of the car.
Well, in the bottom we have rails that we need to replace because they're all smashed, but they are not rusted. There's a rusty hole on the floor on that side we're gonna have to repair, but yeah.
The other side looks better than I thought.
Yeah. Anyway, so what we're gonna start doing now is Nicole is gonna finish welding this here. Then he's gonna grind a little bit here because that's where the fender goes. And we're gonna probably mount the seal, the rocker. It's prepped already. Because it's galvanized, we had to remove the galvanic coating from everywhere where we're gonna weld, including here, everywhere. So it's prepped. We just need to put it there. Well, we need to paint underneath. But before we put it there, Nick is gonna have to come and weld these that I accidentally cut when I was removing the old seal. Then we're gonna put the seal, and that's Nicola's task today, to keep welding until it is all welded, the seal. And then we have a patch here that we need to do, but this comes after the seal. So the seal goes underneath and this gets extended down over the seal, overlaps it. And then we can deal with the rear fender here. We have the piece that goes there. It just needs to be adjusted properly so we can weld it there. And in the meantime, while Nicola is welding, I'm gonna try to deal with this fender. So there is an option that we buy a new fender, but we already bought the repair piece for the bottom here. So I'm gonna take dolly and my slapper, and I'm gonna try to straighten it a little bit. So I'm sure that I can make it look nice. I'm only concerned about this body line here that needs to continue here. I'm not sure how I'm gonna make that, if I can make it nice. But I'm gonna try anyways. If it doesn't work, we're gonna buy a new fender. But if it works, we're gonna save ourselves about 200 American dollars. So let's try.
It can only be better.
Yeah, it will be better, but is it gonna be good enough?
Yeah.
We're not happy with good enough. We're happy with perfect.
You're saying it can't get worse.
Yeah, it can get worse. It's worth trying. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work anyway. So, too much talking. Let's get crack-a-lacking. Let's fix that first. Okay, fixed. I hammered it a little bit, so now it matches our bend here, and Nick is now gonna weld it.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know.
Alright, so Nick repaired this here, welded that there. So now he's gonna go with the truck bed liner. He's gonna paint everything inside. Start from inside. Actually, inside is painted already. You know, and before that, he's gonna take the air hose and he's gonna blow inside here because there's dust now and stuff. And it's painted there already. So he's gonna paint everything else. And we're gonna give it like 10-15 minutes to dry a little bit, and then we can start putting the rocker. And in the meantime, I started here, and actually comes out pretty good. There was this big crease here that I managed to flatten somewhat. Of course, it needs a lot more, but initially I couldn't even strip the paint from here because it was dished. So slowly it's coming out. This part here came out more or less. There's another body line here that we need to do. So you see how it is here? So it is pretty much flat. This is not perfect actually. We repaired this part, so we might need to bring this a little bit back out one day, but it needs to be like that. So that's tricky. We're gonna see how we're gonna do that on the other fender. And also you see this body line is that the one that I'm talking about. It is wide here, and then it narrows up to here where it is almost like a round thing, and here it is almost flat. I'm gonna go a little bit more with the slapper on that fender to make it flat as possible, and then we're gonna maybe take a template from this one and try to transfer it on that fender. Yeah, so you see here, this needs to go down and it needs to come up here somewhere. This needs to go, and here, wow. Anyway, I'm sure we're gonna manage. Okay, good job, Nick. It's all painted. So we have this guy on the floor. So let's hang it there, line it up, and then I can go do my job there while Nick is welding here. I actually enjoy that. Let me show you. I actually really enjoy that, and I don't want to stop. It's coming out, like all the dents are coming out a little bit at a time. Of course, it's the wrong shape here. Like we said already, this body line is wide here, but then it narrows to almost like a 3/4 of an inch here, and from here it goes parallel until it meets with this line here. And there's no round part. After the bend, it is flat, and this flat part here, it goes in towards the center of the car, and then it slowly comes up out, and then here it is vertical, and from here it starts actually coming out a little bit. But so this means that from here we're gonna need to straighten it up. Here we need to push it down. We have to get rid of this round part. This body line actually goes right in the middle of this flat part here. So we're gonna bring this down, and we're gonna bring this up. So how I'm doing that, I actually started doing it here. How I'm doing that is I'm putting my dolly underneath, right under the body line, and then with the flapper I go either this way or this way, and that brings this down and brings the body line up. It's a slow process, but it is working. I actually like I said, I really enjoy it. All right, Nicola painted the seal inside, so we had to wait for it to dry, and I continued here. I had a line, I just freehanded it, and it's coming there. Like, it is far from being good, but for example here, if you look at this like this, we already have the curve, the body line where we want it. Here it disappears, here it is too high, so this somehow needs to come back, but it kind of goes where we want it. There's this big crease here that we still need to straighten to make it flat, but slowly it's going there. I wasn't expecting it to work that well, so here I made the line and I flattened it, but now we have a big hump right here. So we're gonna see if we can shrink that, because that's stretched material, I believe. Again, with the dolly and the slapper, it works. Like Ray Shellin keeps saying all the time, metal is clay. So we're gonna shrink it. Here it needs to be shrunk a little bit, but it's getting there. I'm actually really pleased with how this works. I've been on it for an hour now, or hour and 20 minutes probably, and it's already looking very good. All right, so it's dark outside. We went inside for dinner, and we spent a little bit too much time at dinner, so now it's hard for me to continue working, so I'm just gonna relax. But Nick is willing to come back and continue working. So before dinner we positioned the rocker in place, and we removed the door, and I tucked it for him in various places. So he needs to weld it here, here, all the way here and up there, and here as well. So we have that trick with the flat drill bit. I'm not gonna show it to you again. It's just a drill bit that is cut flat in the front, and then we go inside and we remove the paint from the plug welds, so we can do that. And that's it. Well, I don't know if we're gonna be done with this today, maybe not, but tomorrow we're gonna continue. Tomorrow, eventually, we're gonna start with this panel here. It is over there, so it is made as well. So it just needs to be adjusted a little bit, and then we're gonna trim this to the correct shape, because now they overlap each other. But it's looking like a car already. Sick and tired of seeing this big hole every time. So hopefully tomorrow it's gonna be covered. With this I'm gonna continue tomorrow, but I'm pretty happy. I showed it to you already. I'm pretty happy with how it turns. Of course it needs a lot more work, but it's coming back to shape. Remember how chewed it was before? I've never done something like that before. I've never done such a big panel and such a big repair before, and I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to do it, but it's actually coming along really well. Anyways, are you happy, Rusty? Wagging your tail? Yeah, he's happy. All right, it's the next day, and it is cold and rainy outside, so the door is closed. And Nick has been welding here this rocker. In the meantime, I've been working a little bit more on the panel here, on the fender. It's getting there. Lots more to do, but anyway, so what happened, it is actually Sunday, the Thanksgiving weekend, and we ran out of wire. And of course, I thought that I had more. I don't. I have this 35, which is pretty thick, and eventually it might work here, but I don't have 0.35 tips for the welder, so we can't continue. And it's Thanksgiving, the Canadian Thanksgiving, so we can't even go to the store tomorrow to buy more, because everything's going to be closed. For now, I think we should pass on that. We have no other choice, and we can start working on this panel, the half fender here, to make it fit, at least, since we can't weld it, but at least we can make it fit properly, because I remember we had some issues on the other side with the repair patch. It needed a little bit of modification. Okay, so we have this patch here, clicked. We've done that before, so we had the holes already drilled. So we just put 2 clickers, and I was just explaining to Nick here that we can easily put a third one there, push it in, but look what happens down there when we push it in. So we can also hold it here, clamp it, and push it here. That's fine, that's not gonna move now. But we don't want that. We don't want the metal, when it's welded, to be under stress, because that's gonna bring this metal out as well, and we're gonna end up with a big hump here. Even though we're gonna butt weld them, it doesn't matter how well we align them, they might be perfectly aligned with each other, I mean the same height at the joint, but they both are gonna be like V-shaped here. There's gonna be a big hump. So the idea is to bring the 2 layers that are gonna be welded together as close as possible to the same shape, so they are relaxed when you butt weld them. We've already done that on the other side, but it was probably a year ago or something. So we had to go and watch our old video to see what exactly we've done there, and it is obvious when we look at this here, it's obvious what needs to be done. We need to shrink here this flange, and that's going to bring the whole thing in, because look even here how much out it is. I can push it, not really, actually it's pretty hard. So if we shrink it here, it's gonna go in, and that's gonna bring this in as well. Maybe not only here, maybe in 2 places, I don't know, maybe here and here, but we're gonna start from where we feel that it's touching right now, and I think it's touching right here. So this metal is touching the inner metal. Okay. So a little bit. There you go, it came a little bit in, and I'll do a little bit here as well. We can always stretch it again if we have to. No, this didn't do anything. There you go. Okay. Here too. Well, I don't know, this might be able to twist a little bit like that. Yeah. Further. Here, it's almost there, so we need very little more. And this we can bend by hand. This sheet metal is so soft, it's crazy. It's not thin, but it's soft.
Why are you bending it that way?
Because there's a curve this way as well.
Yeah.
See this nice curve here? It's like a...
Yeah.
It's missing on this side, totally. Needs to have the same thing, to be symmetrical with this, I guess. So here it needs to go down. Alright, it's the next day, and this is how far we went yesterday with this. We didn't work a lot. And today is Thanksgiving Monday, but we found an open store and we were able to buy some wire. So now we can work again. Nick is gonna continue welding, and I'm gonna continue beating that panel there. So not much to film. Okay, so Nick welded everything, all the plug welds underneath, the plug welds over there, this whole entire seam, and up here. So now he's gonna start grinding it, and I showed him how to grind it, and I'll explain to you also, because this stitch is very close to this corner here, and we don't want to distort this line and make it wavy. That's why I told him to grind it flat, I even gave him this disc and I told him to grind it like this and try to keep his disc horizontal at all times without worrying about this side here, these uneven parts. So if he does that, even if there's things like this, then we're gonna grind it very gently with even not with an angle grinder. Maybe we're gonna take an air tool with a very gentle sanding disc and we're gonna grind it on the same angle, and then in some areas we're gonna end up with sharp corners like here, but in most cases it's gonna be nice and smooth if his weld didn't reach this line. And then when we have this sharp corner, we're gonna go and smoothen it. We just want to keep this line straight because this line is important. It's under the door, and if it is wavy, it's gonna be seen. And I'm still on this baby here, and it's getting really close to what we want it to be. I even made this curve here. What I'm doing here is I'm holding my dolly like this underneath, under this area, and then here I went with the hammer like that, and I bent it very slowly. Now it is wavy. At the end we're gonna have to go with the slapper everywhere and smoothen it. Now it is like, it has dents, but it was like this here, and it became pretty smooth now. So even here now the line came up. So I'm gonna work a little bit more on the line to make it a little bit more pronounced, even though it is pretty good now. And once I have the line, then we're gonna start dealing with this area here, because all this needs to be smoothened too. Now we have a big hump here, which I don't know if we're gonna be able to smoothen or we're gonna have to shrink it. We'll see, but I have the feeling that we can make it nice and smooth from here to here, this strip. You see here, this is also wavy. I'm gonna have to make this part perfect, flat. This part is flat on this wheel, if you see. So first I'm gonna deal with this, and then I'm gonna deal with this. Okay, end of the day update. We started late. We started like, what was it, like 2-3 o'clock? I don't know. We worked for 2-3 hours anyways, and Nick ground here. He didn't follow my instructions perfectly, but it is what it is. He's still learning, but it's not bad. And in the meantime, I think this is like pretty good now. I'm pretty happy with everything, except there are a few little things that we still need to work on. For example, this area from here to here, this area for whatever reason is up, so we need to bring this down. Here on top I think we're in a pretty good shape, so that's what we're gonna leave it. Here this is a little bit wavy. I can feel it. I don't know if you see it, but I can feel this is high, this is low, this is high, this is low. So we have to make this even, but we don't have any more time today. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned so far. It's like 90%, I would say, done. I know it is shiny now and you can't really see, but maybe like this on an angle, it shows you exactly where the line is. Anyways, that's gonna be everything for today, I believe. We're gonna finish this video here, right? And we're gonna continue next time. So because it's like 6 o'clock, we need to put the door on. We need to yeah, we're gonna grind here, so we don't really need to paint this, but we need to take the car out so I can bring the next project in. I have another Triumph that I have to start working on. It's gonna be probably for a few months here. Anyways, that's gonna be everything for today, guys. Thanks for watching. commenting, subscribing, and sharing. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.